Oseo Tohijin Nagata, hello, how are you all doing? This video is going to be about crafting characterization in your digital story. Now, a digital story, like any story, is about a character or multiple characters. And if you remember, the literary web for creators here, in the definition for characterization, boils down to what your character does or what your character says, the dialogue. That could also be the internal dialogue. This character might not say it out loud, but they're talking to themselves. We're going to focus more on the dialogue and voice in this part in this exercise, in crafting your character. And we're going to do so by talking about one of my stories and the way that I crafted the dialogue, but also how it was turned into a podcast and how that, how these different voices are interpreted. So I wrote a story that was published in 2024 called Virtually Cherokee. And it's about, for one, it asks the question, can you raise an artificially intelligent being as Cherokee? But the narrator of this story is an AI, an artificially intelligent being. And after the first little intro bit here, you'll see this first full paragraph really gives us a sense of the character, this AI character. He's talking about, or it's talking about, what they observe when they're looking at this interview. And you can see that the character is putting in some judgmental words, but then marking them out, right? And so this character is judgmental in their observations, but they're trying not to be, right? This is how I characterize this artificially intelligent being. Now, when this became a podcast, Skyboat Media created a podcast out of this, and the only thing I helped them with is the pronunciation of the Cherokee words and syllables that are in this, because I have a lot of Cherokee going on later in here. But they really did everything else. They decided how it was going to be performed. And in deciding that, the voice actor decided how my character would sound. And I'll just play the short clip just to cover this one paragraph so you can hear the podcast version of that.
Virtually Cherokee
by Brian K. Hudson.
Sudo at feed $$ ping bob.server bob.server not responding. Sudo at feed $$ secure shell control at 2120:0 E50:2:1 password ********. Control. Hey Bob, you up? Bob.
Hi, yes, I'm online.
Are you streaming the main feed?
Yes.
Good. Keep watching and transcribing.
Okay.
And leave out the opinions this time. We just need the facts.
Okay. What I observed was a giant anthropomorphized ribbon microphone, the type one might imagine standing in front of a radio announcer and his studio audience, selling soap in the dirty 1930s. It sauntered lazily over to an overstuffed red couch, walking on stick figure legs that looked like they'd been hand-drawn by a young child. The large red couch sat next to a 5-foot-tall elephant ear plant rooted firmly in an ochre hex #CC7722 terracotta pot. The ridiculous, word deleted, microphone sat down on the right side of the comically oversized couch. On the other side of the couch was seated an elderly woman. Her gray hair was intricately woven into 2 long braids.
So as you can hear, the voice actor has a very specific idea for how this character sounds, right? And I hadn't thought about my character sounding like that, but it actually gives more depth to the character, I think. And now when I read over my story, I think I hear the character as the voice actor performed this character. But this is just an example from my own writing of dialogue and voice, right? Dialogue is what your characters say, whether it's out loud or to themselves. And then voice is really what makes them, what words do you choose, or how do you depict a unique way or a unique character. And this could be shown on the page like you see here, where I mark out the word ridiculous because he's trying not to, this artificial being, I keep trying to gender this artificial being. This artificial being is not trying to be judgmental. And then we can hear how that character is voiced in the actual performance in the podcast. So for this dialogue and voice exercise for our characterization, I want you to pick a character, and I want you to create just one line of dialogue. If you want to create more, that's awesome, but just one line is fine. But I want you to think carefully about that one line of dialogue, whether it's internal or external, right? It can be any character in your fictional world. But what details do you use when you're writing this line of dialogue down? What word choice should be important, right? Is there a way that you show pronunciation or emphasis of different syllables or different words? And what does this word choice and way that you depict your character, what does this tell us about their state of mind, if anything? Now, if you want to earn some bonus points for this exercise, you can get some bonus points for uploading an audio file of your character's dialogue. This could be you performing that dialogue, right? Or if you have a friend who is a good voice actor, right, they could help you perform that line of dialogue. But if you upload an audio version of it, just like we have the podcast version of Virtually Cherokee, then you'll get bonus points for this. But this is really about starting to create our character's voice through dialogue, through audio, right, through whatever means is helpful in creating your character.